There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Please be seated. The Secretary will read the order.
Debate on vote number 29, Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, Appropriation Bill.
I will now recognize to introduce the budget, the Honourable the Minister of Agriculture.
Good morning, House Chair, members of the Portfolio Committee, our Deputy Minister, my fellow Minister, members of statutory boards and councils, agricultural sector representatives, senior officials from the Department and its entities, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Molweni, Goeiemorgen, Sanibonani. It's great to be here today to present my first budget and policy speech to the National Assembly. When I was first announced as the Minister of Agriculture, South Africa reacted in typical fashion. There were memes of me wearing tight-fitting boerable shorts and veldskoene, pictures of me riding tractors and horses, and of course the very teasing renaming of me as John Deere. But there was also an open letter to me that went viral on social media. It was thoughtful and considered and offered me some sound advice and encouragement for the path that lay ahead. In his letter, the author told me that agriculture was not just farming. It was economics, manufacturing, infrastructure, energy, research, science, tourism, water, and many other things. In the first few weeks that I've been getting to grips with the department, I can confirm that my correspondent was absolutely correct. Make no mistake, agriculture is one of those primary industries that play an essential role in the provision of food, the creation of employment, the enhancement of rural economies, and the generation of foreign earnings. The sector contributes an average of 2.8% to the national economy, measured in gross democratic product, and roughly 6% to total employment. However, when food manufacturing is combined, both the agriculture and food sectors contribute up to 7% of the GDP. Between the period 2019 and 2023, the agricultural sector performed relatively well compared to other sectors in the economy. This is despite the challenges that were brought around as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown regulations. The July 2021 unrest, which disrupted food supply chains, and the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, which saw input costs and tariffs and trade flows of commodities like fertilizer, wheat, sunflower, and rice, amongst others, being affected. Despite this, during that period, the agricultural economy increased by more than 25% in value added, creating over 113,000 new jobs and expanding agricultural imports by roughly 47 billion rand. This growth can be contributed to and attributed to the agility of the farmers and the value chain players and their adaptability to vulnerabilities like COVID-19 and conflict. I now want to turn to the Agricultural and Agro-Processing Master Plan. This was a master plan that was adopted in 2022 and is the framework upon which the agricultural sector is premised. The AAMP adoption process has enjoyed broad sectoral support, and I wish to make it clear to both the industry and to this committee that I have no intention of reinventing the wheel. Instead, the focus will be on rapidly accelerating the objectives of the AAMP and ensuring that my department upholds its commitments contained in the plan. The plan focuses on developing...
Honourable Minister, my apologies for interrupting you. There is unfortunately at the moment no live stream of this debate. and whilst the table staff is attending to it, it would seem that the fundamental principle of public access to our debates is being undermined. In the circumstances, we will suspend the debate for now and consider, if indeed there was also no recording, we will make a ruling as to whether we restart the debate. My apologies, Honourable Minister. We suspend the proceedings for 5 minutes. Thank you. Please be seated. Honourable members, as you see, the live stream is then fixed. We will restart this debate, and I call the Honourable the Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you very much, House Chairperson. The sectoral plan contained in the AAMP is anchored on a commodity value chain approach, and the value chain roundtables and transformation scheme have been established, reporting to the AAMP Oversight Executive Committee that I will chair. The collaborative approach we need involves leveraging the skills, the resources, and the knowledge already available in the private sector, industry, and agribusiness to work hand in hand in a partnership with government. The leadership of my predecessor established very close and mutually beneficial relationships with the industry, and I believe that we are on the right pathway in this regard. I'm a firm believer in the importance of the coexistence of small and large farmers and agribusiness. The AAMP shares these very same principles and will make my job a lot easier to drive. The role of the Department of Agriculture is to provide a national framework to promote sustainable food security and an enabling environment for the agricultural sector to work and grow. This then requires a policy and regulatory environment that is modern, progressive, and in line with international standards. I intend to work very closely with the chairperson and the Portfolio Committee to drive a legislative agenda through the 7th Parliament that will modernize the agricultural sector. Some of the pieces of legislation governing the sector on the statute books are outdated and are out of step with the needs of the modern agricultural sector. Statutes, for instance, like the Fertilizers, Farm Seeds and Remedies Act 36 was passed in 1947. It's time for us to work together as the Department, Parliament and the agricultural sector to bring the policy and regulatory environment into the modern era in order for us to harness the new technologies, products and practices that are available internationally. This will allow our farmers, small and large, to remain on the cutting edge of agricultural advancements and ensure global competitiveness. Food security is another important focus of our department. A nation's ability to feed its citizens remains a
Honourable
critical
Minister,
national...
my apologies, would you just take a seat for a moment? Honourable Member, why are you rising?
All right. This is Franz Mfiki from Eastern Cape in Mkanduli. I'm here for MK Party, Umkhonto Wesizwe, under President Jacob Zuma. Honourable House Chair, I have a problem. I am Xhosa. Are your translators also active? Because now I see Honourable John Stesen is in English. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Honourable Member. There is translation services, but the difficulty we are faced with, as you will know, is that there's 3 parallel simultaneous mini-plenaries. So the translation services of Parliament, unfortunately, is not able to deliver full translation services during these mini-plenaries. The only translation available is if a speaker uses anything but English, then there is translation to English and to, depending on the availability, some of the other official languages. So my apologies for your inconvenience caused, but that is unfortunate due to the practicalities around having 3 mini-plenaries at one time.
I thank you, House Chair. My concern was based on the masses of South Africa, because not everyone speaks English. Because now, when we see it being viewed on television, our people on the ground in Mkanduli, Aidujwa, Zanin, are not English-speaking people. So we need to consider those as well living in a democratic Republic of South Africa. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Your point is noted, but just to say, of course, speakers are entitled to use the language of their choice, and that is what is being done by the Minister. Thank you, Minister. You may proceed.
Even if there was translation. Translation comes through these apparatus. It's not broadcast. So unless the people in Kanduli have got this apparatus, they're not going to benefit from translation. So let's not mislead and misrepresent. This is where the translation comes through.
Thank you, Honourable Trollip. Minister, you may proceed.
Thank you. And Honourable Member, I'll commit to getting the speech translated by the Department into isiXhosa, which will allow you to share it with the people of Nkandule when you go back to your constituency. A nation's ability to feed itself and provide...
Order. Sorry, Honourable Minister and Naweshe. If sikhuluma ngokulima, sikhuluma ngento ethinta impilo zabantu ebalekekile kakhulu. So siyawadinga ama-language wonke ala South Africa, la eParliament, especially abantu phansi laba abasivotele. Ingathathwa kancane into ekhulunywa Honourable lowo mkhonto wezizwe. And la eParliament angiboni ukuthi kufanele kubheke ukuthi lo khulumayo ubani ufusuka kuyiphi organization. Ngiyacela and uminister into ayiphethe uphethe into eyigugu kuthina. Into eyimpilo kuthina, uphethe umnotho kuthina. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Honourable Member Kahula. Honourable members, this is no longer a points of order raised on a procedural issue. There has been given a full explanation as to the translation services that is available. It has also been pointed out that of course, the live stream and the broadcast is in the languages used in the chamber. So I would plead with you that we refrain from now traversing this issue. If you have further inputs around the language practice in Parliament, please take it to the Rules Committee and the Speaker. Please refrain from now again interrupting the Minister on this basis. I'm quite sure, as the Minister has indicated, he is willing and able to have the speech translated and distributed in all of the official languages. Honourable Member, is that on another issue? Or if it is on the same issue, I will not allow it and we will move forward.
Chair, your voice is going lower and lower and we can't hear you anymore.
I'll try and speak up. Thank you, Honourable Minister. You may continue.
Another important focus of the department has to be on biosecurity and phytosanitary interventions. Biosecurity remains a very clear challenge, particularly in the poultry and livestock sector, and remains a top priority for the department. Recent outbreaks of avian flu and foot and mouth disease pose a significant risk, not only to our local production, but also to our export potential to other countries. It's an area where greater focus is going to have to be given. In this light, the department will be focusing on a new track and trace system for the movement of animals around the country. This is becoming necessary because international export markets and trade organizations are rapidly moving to systems where trade will only be possible with livestock products if such product can be traced to its origin. We must move swiftly in this regard. I also believe that in addition to assisting with biosecurity, a track and trace system of livestock could assist in the combating of stock theft, as each animal will be uniquely traceable to the original owner and the chain of successive movements of the animal will be recorded. The Department of Agriculture, in collaboration with the Department of Science, Technology, Innovation and private sector partners, will contribute 10 million rand to the National Biosecurity Hub program. This program aims to integrate scientific disciplines to enhance sanitary and phytosanitary capacities, ultimately achieving a comprehensive biosecurity system in agriculture. The greatest asset the department and indeed our country has is the incredible farmers and farm workers of our nation. They are world-class producers and rank amongst the best in the world. They need our thanks, they need our support, and they need us on their side. Whilst assisting large commercial operations to expand and flourish, we must empower new entrant farmers to become self-sustainable and productive as quickly as possible. To support farmers to grow and develop and to contribute to food security, we need to have a fully fledged database of farmers understanding in each instance the type of support they require from the department. Access to finance has also proven to be a significant constraint on the ability of new entrant farmers and small farmers to succeed. This is highlighted starkly by Wandile Sihlobo in his excellent book, A Country of Two Agricultures. The Department of Agriculture developed the blended finance scheme to increase access to affordable finance for black producers in the agriculture and agro-processing sector as part of our commitment to the agriculture and agro-processing master plan. Blended finance involves the provision of grants by the state and loans by private financial institutions, including development banks. To date, the department has successfully partnered with the IDC, the Land Bank and ABSA, and is concluding agreements with FNB, Nedbank and CIFA. The Agro-Energy Fund is another blended finance instrument developed in partnership with the Land Bank to support all qualifying producers and agro-processors, regardless of race, with alternative energy sources. The fund facilitates the purchase of capex for farming or agro-processing and focuses on energy-intensive agricultural activities such as irrigation, intensive agricultural production systems, and on-farm cold chain-related activities. I encourage farmers to make use of this facility to diversify their energy sources. The department will continue to roll out the farmer support programs such as CASP, amongst others. These producer development support grants are provided to producers who cannot afford loans. They are largely subsistence and smallholder producers on arable agricultural land. The support includes the provision of on- and off-farm infrastructure, production inputs, mechanization, training and mentorship, extension support, and ensuring that these smallholder producers receive accreditation and certification to supply safe and high-quality food to the market and the public through tailor-made SA GAP certification program, which has been implemented in the partnership with the Perishable Products Export Control Board. Additionally, 448 million will be made available through the Ilima Letsema to support 67,492 vulnerable households with food production, aiming to create 9,461 jobs, and 1.741 billion will be available to support approximately 6,023 smallholder producers across all 9 provinces through the provincial departments of agriculture. I've read the Portfolio Committee's legacy reports, which are critical and offer some findings of their oversight visits, including problems they've identified with the PESI program and conditional grants meant for farmers. It is of concern that in some instances money meant for farmers was never received. Extension officers remain an important component of support to farmers, and we will continue to explore ways to increase both the quantity and quality of services and support offered by extension officers. This will include exploring innovations as well as public-private partnerships with industry and sectoral bodies to potentially increase the number of extension officers and the training of them to render the services our farmers need. We will relook at the process of allocating the grants and ensure that we are getting value for money and that the impact is being felt and measured on the ground. In terms of agricultural exports, these have shown a very strong annual growth rate over the past 5 years, with an increase of 5% in US dollar terms and 12% in rand terms. Robust engagements are currently underway with the European Union as well as in the WTO regarding new regulations which negatively impacted citrus exports to the EU market. We need to expand markets to enable profitable farming in South Africa. This year, in 2024, will mark the first season where South Africa will be able to export avocados to 3 new markets. Last week, the first avocados from South Africa landed in Japan, China, and India. And additionally, new markets have been opened for fresh beef and lamb in Iran and for table grapes and citrus in Vietnam. The maintenance of traditional markets has also contributed to the steady growth of agricultural exports. We must continue to expand these horizons for South African-produced agricultural products by expanding on and leveraging existing agreements like AGOA and our EU trade agreement. But we must also start looking to new markets on the African continent, India, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and China. Again, access to these markets will only grow if we can ensure proper biosecurity and phytosanitary assurance to them. Disaster management is also an area that doesn't fall under this department, under the cooperative governance of traditional affairs, and natural disasters have started to have a massive impact on agriculture, including the recent veld fires, floods in the Western Cape, black frost in Limpopo. We need to be better prepared to mitigate such risks and assist farmers in extreme conditions. There are also other departments that fall outside of the Department of Agriculture, but which have a direct impact on agriculture. These include transport that covers the essential road and rail routes that farmers require to get their goods to market, the ports that farmers require to get their goods to international markets, and of course the SAPS, who are an essential partner if we are able to improve rural safety and protect our most important assets, farmers and farm workers, from violent criminals. Water, too, is going to be an essential partner in improving both access to and management of water resources. I intend to knock on all of their doors so that working together in a transversal way, we can really begin to unlock the real potential of the agricultural sector as the engine room of job creation in our economy. I intend to make sure that our farmers, farm workers, and the sector have the loudest voice in the room working their corner. And so I end where I began, with that letter I received from the unknown farmer. Yes, I undertake to use this opportunity as a chance to do something together with all of you, including the honourable members of this House and other members of Parliament. And yes, I will be on the sector's side as together we open the gates of opportunity for our farmers, small and large, our sectoral partners and others for us to grow. Let's grow together. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Why are you rising, Honourable Member?
Honourable Chair, will the Honourable Minister be prepared to take a question?
Honourable Member, unfortunately, I think you were just too late to ask of the Minister, but he will be replying to the debate and you can try your luck then again.
Sure, thank you.
The honourable member knows me well. He's happy to send me a little written note of the question. I'll happily traverse it in the end at the end.
Thank you, Minister. Honourable members, the next speaker and the first to react to the budget is the Honourable Pule of the ANC.
Honourable House Chairperson, Honourable Ministers and Deputy Minister, Honourable Members and members of the Portfolio Committee, my co-chairperson here, leaders of the entities and senior officials, good morning, Absheni, Pezgomkon. Our interest as members of the Portfolio Committee in the budget vote is of utmost importance, and we believe that it does cover our programs which will lead to growth and transformation of the sector. Mining and agriculture have historically been the backbone of the economy. We must remember that the agricultural economy value added expanded by 20% real growth rate between 2019 and 2022, thanks to the AMP strategic interventions and overall sectoral policy framework. But it declined by 12% in 2023 as a result of the rebasing effect combined with disease outbreaks in livestock industry, longer power outages, and weather-related problems. Agricultural expansion has made it possible for the industry to add new jobs. The sector added 78,282 new jobs between June 2019 and December 2023, bringing the total number of employed individuals in the sector to 920,344 by end of December 2023. Honourable House Chair, in the upcoming years, the sector is predicted to grow by 12% to 15%. In the near future, drought conditions will probably have an effect on growth rates, though. Policies aimed at ensuring food security and mitigating the challenges of climate change and focus on assisting farmers will take precedence in the year 2024 and 25. This will help the department to maintain the sector's gains in transformation and inclusivity, especially through the creation of small and medium black farmers and agricultural processing zones. Honorable Chair, the Presidential Employment Stimulus Initiative, which primarily aims to support livelihoods and employment, including in the agricultural sector, has an estimated 750 million reprioritized from the administration program, Biosecurity and Natural Resources Management Program, the Food Security, and other programs over the medium term, which can support and assist subsistence farmers and producers with production implements and inputs. Therefore, there should be strong monitoring and evaluation framework for conditional grants and other farmer support programs, such as the PESI and many others. This should be done to enable the department to account more, especially for interventions made to support rural enterprises and improving rural economies. As the African National Congress-led government in the previous administration, we had focused on funding commercial farming over the years to promote growth and development through sectors like rural infrastructure and basic research, as well as epidemic and pest control, and that should continue. Honorable House Chair, the department is directed to submit to Parliament implementation plans and quarterly progress reports on the implementation of the Agriculture and Agro-Processing Master Plan, the AMP, the Poultry and Sugar Master Plans, as well as cannabis, for the inclusion and capacity building of the subsistence and smallholder producers to fully participate in the implementation of the 3 master plans, especially for women and youth. And we would like to see more women and youth trained in these programs, Honorable House Chair. The budget is supported through its ability to speak to programs of agriculture in our country, and we believe it will allow to make significant progress from the past administration of government. We need to invest in sustainable agriculture by implementing farming practices which will allow for the conservation of land, water, plant, and animal genetic resources, environmentally non-grading, technically appropriate, economically viable, and socially acceptable. A proper, well-designed system of plant and animal production practices in agriculture, forestry, and fisheries sectors, having an agro-ecosystem site-specific application that complements ecologically and biodiversity conservation and meets present needs without compromising the ability to meet future needs. The department must continue to implement Agri-Parks model, which entails building farmer production support units, agri-hubs, irrigation schemes, and other comparable socio-economic infrastructure in an effort to increase rural employment, support smallholder farmers in industrialization efforts, and support development in rural areas. There is a need for more financial muscle towards supporting a large increase in the numbers of successful smallholder farming enterprises, build an efficient and internationally competitive agricultural sector, and conserve our agricultural natural resources, and put in place policies and institutions for sustainable resource. It is important to indicate our overwhelming support as the ANC of the budget, and we are of the belief that it will assist in allowing the department to achieve the goals and the implementation of its programs for the benefit of the South African farmers. Tatuman Nelson Mandela once said, and I quote, "It always seems impossible until it is done, and I believe we can do it together." The ANC support this budget vote. Nakenza, Honorable Chairperson. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The next speaker is the Honourable Oukamp on behalf of the DA.
Thank you, Honourable House Chair. Agbare Minister, agbare lede van hierdie huis, mede-Suid-Afrikaners en veral die boere van ons pragtige land. Vir ons om Suid-Afrika te maak werk, moet ons landbousektor maak werk. Ons is almal afhanklik van ons boere, want sonder die boere van Suid-Afrika sal daar nie kos op ons tafels wees nie. Dis 'n voldonge feit dat die boere van Suid-Afrika, swart, wit en bruin, groot en klein, 'n integrale deel van ons land se voortbestaan uitmaak.
Point of order, Chair.
Honourable Chairperson,
Point of
too
order,
many
Chair.
times in the past,
Honourable member, just switch off your mic for a moment. Yeah. Honourable members, if you want to raise a point of order, please do not switch on your mic before you're being recognised. Otherwise, I can't ask the speaker on the podium to take a seat. Please proceed. Honourable member, I've recognised you. Did you want to speak? Honourable Mklangweni.
Thank you, House Chair. It's quite disappointing for a seventh parliament that on today and age that we must struggle and beg as members of parliament for translation services. It's quite disappointing. It shows once again that the seventh parliament have no way in taking us serious as members of parliament and ensuring that there are proper running of parliament services. We can't be speaking about this for 2-3 weeks straight, literally begging for translation services. It's not the first time that we are running mini plenaries, and it's not the first time that we are running mini plenaries in this nature. And it's also by your own fault as your GNU concoction that we are sitting with this mess, that we don't have proper translation services in this parliament. We can't allow that, Chair, and it can't be business as usual and we just continue like this and it's just allowed. It's not right. It's really not right. Why must we be enforced and not listening to a debate? Just because someone somewhere is incompetent to see that this parliament have proper translation services.
Honourable member, thank you. I don't know whether you were not present when we dealt with the issue, but we have. I confirm that there is translation into English available. And I confirm that whilst language rights is very important to Parliament, there's 3 mini plenaries running. We will not disrupt this debate further. Thank you. Honourable member, please continue. Order, honourable members, order, please. Order. Honourable Mklangweni, please do not disrupt this debate. Honourable Oukamp, please continue.
thank you, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Chairperson, too many times in the past have the plight of our farmers been ignored.
Honourable Oukamp, just take your seat for a moment. Is that a new point of order, Honourable member?
Yes, it is.
Please continue.
Modula stulo. Ke batla go itse gore a go parliamentary gore speaker a se bue se re bure ka mo parlamente. Go a lemogelesegile na?
Sorry.
Point of order.
Boeletsa modula stulo. Salo. Nka nne ka boeletsa modula stulo. Salo. Ya, ke batla go itse gore a go dumelesegile gore mo ntlong kgolo e ya parliament. Mui a bue a re bure. A go amogelesegile na?
Yeah, thank you, honourable members.
Chairperson.
Thank you, honourable member. It is a parliamentary term, farmer, boer, indeed. That point of order is not sustained.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair.
Yes, honourable member.
Yeah, Carol, Point of order, Chair.
Honourable member, please continue.
Chair. Monole ha itse plani chairperson o bane jwale rona go utlwantsa re bure jwale ga selege ga go utlwe le go ntsa reng ha re mo utlwe re kopa translation mona
Salo. Why is translation only for you, Chair? Why is it only for you, this translation?
Honourable members, can we have order in this House? Can we have order, please? Honourable member, I continue. I repeat. There is translation services available for any instance where a speaker uses any language other than English into English. Unfortunately, due to the fact that we have 3 mini plenaries running concurrently, there is not translation services into the other official languages available during these mini plenaries. Thank you. Yes, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Chair. In South Africa, we have 11 official languages. And in your opening remark, you did indicate that we do have challenges regarding translation system. So, and you also indicated that whoever has a challenge with that, there are necessary processes to follow in Parliament to raise their stress and their distress and frustration. Can we please proceed with the budget vote debate?
Order. Honourable members, we must respect this House and we must respect the people out there. Please be, Honourable member, please give me an opportunity now. Yeah. Honourable members, people out there is following this debate. Please, let's not denigrate the order. Let's respect this House. Let's allow the Speaker to continue. There is translation services into English. Honourable member, continue.
Okay. Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Chairperson, as I said, too many times in the past have the plights of our farmers been ignored. Our farmers were ignored when they asked government to assist them in keeping them and their employees safe. In this regard, I can
Honourable
refer
member, just stand down again, please. Honourable Zungula, why are you rising?
Chair, the Honourable member of the ANC is misleading the House. It is not 11 official languages, it is 12 official languages. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Zungula. Honourable member, please continue.
Let me continue. As I said, our farmers were ignored when they asked government.
Sorry, Chair, I want to apologize to you, Chair.
Chairperson.
I want to apologize to you, Chair, because I'm always ngumuntu ohloniphayo. Ngiqonde ukuthi mina, Chair, asili thina nawe as Chair noma siyakucwasa. Inhloso thina silwa ne7 Parliament naleli tafula ohleli nalo lapha ngoba before singene la fanele nabheka ukuthi yonke into right yini kuyimanje bekungaveli lapha 2 manje akekho labantu abahotolika inqwaba thina silwa nalaba abaphethe lomnyango kaTolika wena ngabe uthi ngiyaxolisa sifuna manje babizwe baletha abantu abazotolika kuphela wena siyakuhlonipha nje obuhleli lapho and ubuke kumfundisi uyahlonipha nawe ngicabanga uzovula isonto nawe ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Honourable Kahula.
Honourable Chairperson.
Thank you for
Honourable Chairperson.
Just give me a moment, please, Honourable. Thank you for that. But whilst we respect this House, let's please continue with this debate. If honourable members are still struggling to find the translation services, it is there. If you play around with the channels, I have found it. So there is translation services available. Honourable member, is that on a new point? Please continue.
Honourable House Chair, would the Honourable member be prepared to take a question?
Honourable member, are you prepared to take a question? Thank you, Honourable member. You have your answer. Honourable Okam, please continue. Honourable members, please, let's respect the debate. Let's respect this House. Let's respect one another and give the Honourable Okam an opportunity to conclude.
Chairperson, I would like to request that my time be increased because I've got to repeat what I've said. Chairperson, as I've said, our farmers have been ignored when they asked for assistance to keep them and their employees safe. In this regard, I can refer you to the sad statistics of farm attacks and farm murders happening frequently in our country. They were ignored when they asked government to assist them timeously when their farming activities came under attack from biosecurity threats. They were ignored when they asked government to assist them in improving the road, water and electricity infrastructures in our rural areas. Our farmers were ignored when they asked government to maintain our harvests so that they can get their products to the harvest timeously. They were also ignored when they asked government to assist in providing them with sound professional advice to improve their farming activities. Honourable Chairperson, this list of instances where government in the past has failed our farmers goes on and on. The neglect that our farmers are experiencing must now come to an immediate end. In this regard, the DA is very grateful that the suggestions that we made to the Committee on Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development were unanimously accepted. And once those measures that we've proposed are implemented, will make a significant change to the lives of all farmers in South Africa. Amongst others, these suggestions include requesting the newly appointed Minister of Agriculture to firstly fast-track the appointment of a CEO for Onderstepoort Biological Products, as well as to implement measures to fast-track the approval of vaccines in order to improve the biosecurity in our country. The Minister must also have discussions with the Minister of Police, COCTA and Home Affairs to urgently implement measures that will advance the safety of the people in our farming community. The Minister must also liaise with the Minister of Finance to firstly increase the budget for agriculture and secondly to consider providing tax relief to farming communities for the cost that they've incurred in improving their safety. The report also requests the Minister to have engagements with various other ministers to discuss challenges affecting our farming areas in respect of road, rail infrastructure, energy supply, municipal services, as well as addressing the challenges at our port. Agbare Minister Steenhuisen, die boere in ons land is moeg om afgeskeep te word. Hulle is moeg vir mooi praatjies en hulle is moeg vir leë beloftes. U het nou die geleentheid om aan die boere van ons land te wys dat u vir hulle sal luister, dat u nie leë beloftes sal maak nie en dat u dit wat u sê sal uitvoer. Die boere in ons land, groot en klein, swart, wit of bruin, is lus om met u saam te werk. Minister,
even though I gave you a few extra seconds, your time has unfortunately expired.
Let's grow together. This was as irritating as driving on a pothole-ridden road in the rural areas of our country.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Thank you, Honourable Members. We find in a position to move on. I call to the podium on behalf of MK, the Honourable Madlala.
Ngiyanibingelela nonke isikhathi anginaso ngizobingelela nje my president Jacob Zuma umholi othandwa bonke abantu. Uma sikhuluma ngezolimo nozokuthuthukiswa komhlaba emakhaya as the MK party ezintweni ezingu8 ezimqoka esikhuluma ngayo ngizocaphuna lapha kusomqulu wamaqhinga MK. In addressing land disposition and economic marginalization, the MK party aims to redistribute land and resources equitably. Ukuphumelelisa konke lokhu, i-MK party loya lokhu okulandelayo: expropriation of land without compensation, transferring land ownership to the people under the states and traditional custodian, ukwabela abalimi abamnyama ababeshiwe ngaphandle umhlaba kwezolimo ukuthi nabo bethole imali yokulima nezocwaningo bekwazi ukungena ezimakethe. Here we are, Honourable Chairperson, in the 7th administration, where we are presented with the recycled policies and programs that have failed to change the life of the black people in the last 8 years. The ANC of Ramaphosa, ihlulekile ukuwina nge-majority ngomhla ka-29 May, still continue to recycle the same failed policies and over again and expect different results. I-allocation rural development, allocation of 800 million. Ifana nenhlamba einganeni zesikole njengamanje ingane sawela umgwaqo ziwela imfula ngeenyawo ziye ezikoleni. Sibuye sizobuka iallocation yonke lesinikwa isabelo sezimali. Awu, uthunyiwe. Othi ngiyise lapha esingisini sabo. The allocation of just over 800 million for rural development is in this financial year is a slap in the face of school children who still have to cross rivers on the foot to get to school due to lack of bridges. Allocation is a drop in the ocean for rural black farmers who have no storage facilities for their grains, no cold room for their vegetables. These so-called GNU policies and program underpinning this 16 billion budget and the annual performance plan of the department are premised on neo-colonial and neoliberal policies imposed on South African by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank during CODESA, and they have failed the country over the last 30 years. In the last 30 years, the state has failed RDPs and National Development Plan, reducing poverty, inequality, economic growth, land redistribution. The very same policies of made white commercial agriculture to thrive, and white farmers have become richer and richer at the expense of black majority. The minister's speech and the APP is silent about the tenure security for security working and living in the commercial land. It's silent about the finalizing restitution land claim that were lodged from 1994 to 1998. It is silent about the settlement of outstanding labor tenants that were lodged between 1996 and 2001. It is silent about providing a second tenant for people living in the black township and informal settlement. The exploitation and the daylight of black farming communities in respect of restitution land must stop now. Ukurojwa emini inkunzi abalima bamnyama ama communities abuyelwe emhlaba. Abelungu in the disguise of willing sellers, many white farmers pretend to be selling the land to the states for land rights purposes, when in fact there is no will whatsoever to sell, but to benefit from the sale money plus to continue to farm with the profits from the land they have sold.
Honourable Member, your time has unfortunately now expired. Thank you, Honourable Member. The next speaker is the Honourable Mailola on behalf of the EFF. Honourable members, this is a maiden speech. Welcome, Honourable Member.
Our DSG, Chair. Thank you very much. House Chair, the Economic Freedom Fighters reject the Budget Vote 29 on agriculture, land reform and rural development. The land reform program in this country has been a catastrophic failure from inception. This failure is a result of both the constitutional conception of land, with its failure to resolve the question of to whom does the land really belongs to, and it is also a result of blatant government incompetence and zero willingness to resolve the land crisis in this country. There is no budget that will ever resolve these problems because the problem is at the level of design. This problem, Minister Nyonso, will not be resolved by unsubstantiated rhetoric. They require, at the core of firm grounding of who we are as people, of the foremost theories of your movement, Peter Ngeze Raboroko, in criticizing the people you are now working with, argued to them, master and slave, the exploiter and the exploited, the oppressor and the oppressed, the degrader and the degraded are all equal. To them, indigenous African nationalists and immigrant European foreign nationalists, the dispossessed and the dispossessors, the victims and the robbers are all countrymen. For them, the progressive and the reactionaries, the African subject and his foreign overlord, the African nationalists and the colonists of white supremacists, the liberationists and the collaborationists are all brothers. At the level of the Constitution, there is simply no recognition of the fact of the conquest, and that this created a permanent line between the invader and the native. It is because of this that the Constitution requires payment for taking land back from the dispossessed to give to the dispossessed. And it is because of this that the Constitution does not recognize any acts of conquest before 1913. The land question cannot be resolved without addressing the constitutional design defect. At this level of basic competency of the state, for the past 30 years, just over 10% of the land has been returned back to the people. The 7 Lamosa reports submitted by the Land Claims Commission to the Land Claims Court indicates that the state has paid in excess 50 billion for land restitution alone, and that half of that money went toward compensating white farmers. According to the report, the state needs a further 30 years and over 68 billion to settle the more than 6,000 land claims submitted by 1998. There are still over 100,000 claims land lying dormant that were submitted as a result of the Restitution of Land Amendment Act that later declared unconstitutional. There is no budget for all of these claims, and there was never a stage where land reform got more than 2% of the budget since 1994. Simply put, all these land claims are just administrative burden that will never be resolved for as long as we have this constitutional defect, and as a state that prioritizes pleasing the settlers more than affirming the native. The separation of the agricultural portfolio from the land reform portfolio makes absolutely no sense. Giving over the agricultural portfolio to a right-winger simply spells doom for emerging black farmers. Our agriculture needs protection from unfair competition from farmers whose countries protect and subsidize their agriculture. Mr. Steenhuisen believes in opening up the agricultural market as wide as possible, making it impossible for other black farmers to make meaningful contribution to the sector. Our agriculture needs consistent state support in relation to the regulation of farm size of the labor market and of protecting the downstream and upstream agricultural activities. Mr. Steenhuisen believes that the state should play as minimal role as possible. Our agriculture needs a targeted and radical transformation to ensure that black farmers play a dominant role. Mr. Steenhuisen purpose to see the color while tacitly advocating for white dominance in the sector. There will not be any progress made in redressing the land injustice in this country. Mr. Nyonso, you are now firmly within the fold of right-wingers who control the agenda. As the EFF, we reject the budget vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The next party to participate is the IFP.
Thank you, as Chairperson. Both African farmers have long been stewards of the land, but we have to assist these farmers in acquiring skills and expertise regarding new and modern farming methods, especially at the levels of that a growing global population requires. The new administration urgently needs to address the provision of agri-logistics and rural infrastructure for agricultural development to be realized. Government needs to gear out agricultural investment targets towards supporting the expansion of production and employment and small-scale farmers or farming. Unfortunately, this will prove to be difficult considering the budget cuts, which remain a point of concern for citizens of the country, especially also considering with the fertile land and farms that are lying fallow. However, before we can get to those more advanced measures, the department needs to ensure that the basics are in place, promoting and protecting job opportunities for farm workers, as it is one of the largest sectors in securing labor-intensive work. Farm workers need to have peace of mind in knowing that their jobs will be safe, even if there is a change of ownership of farms. Therefore, under this new administration, the department needs to prioritize farm workers who happen to be employed on the farms under claims, as they get redundant when ownership changes hands to new owners. The claimants' blended finance to assist farmers in pushing for success and becoming independent farmers is gradually reduced each financial year, which is something we would like to see be reversed. The department's silence about releasing farms that are under the state for claimants, although they were gazetted for an extensive period of time, is simply unacceptable. The department is also silent on how it will intervene in all challenges of failing a trust that do not distribute funds to beneficiaries. We abandon the farm workers and small-scale farmers who have put their blood, sweat, and tears into the food production of this country in this manner. As the IFP, we urge the department to look closely at the function of the CPAs and trust as far as disciplining of benefits. A further unfortunate point to note is the fact that machinery that was provided by the provinces during the third and fourth administration disappeared without trace. Smallholder farmers, emerging farmers, and subsistence farmers would be successfully producing had those tractors been distributed wisely. We urge this administration to look into this matter and help those actively contributing to our country's food security. Ngiyafisa sitalo ukusho lokho. Izwe lethu abathengi basenkingeni yokudula kokudla ezitolo. Kusemqoko ukuthi umnyango ukubheke ukuthi uxhase abalimi ukuze abantu abangabathengi bokudla bathola ukudla kunama price akahle. Inkinga enkulu ekhona ezweni importa ukudla kuphuma ngaphandle okucheap okwenza abalimi bethu bangakwazi ukukompita ngendlela efaneleyo uma sekuza kwezokuthengisela abantu ngoba abalimi ukudla kwabo kuyadula okwala ngaphakathi. Sengikhulume konke lokho ngiyafisa ukusho ukuthi asinankinga ngokwesekela le budget. Ngiyathokoza.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The next party entitled to take part in this debate is the PA. Is there somebody representing the PA? We move on. The next opportunity is ActionSA. We welcome the Honourable Trollip.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Minister, your appointment was described in a Daily Maverick article as a crucible for South Africa's agricultural future, a daunting observation and responsibility. The same article heaped praise on your predecessor for being a beacon of hope and for her noble intent. Success in agriculture requires more than intent. It requires hard work, and only informed and more scientific actions lead to outcomes of any value. It's in this field that your department is faced with alarming paucity. In the same article, the author Ivor Price quoted James Baldwin, quote unquote, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." Facing the challenges related to scientific, academic empowerment and technical capacitation is key in this department. Our rural or platteland economy is against the ropes. Small towns are falling apart, and this is fanning an unparalleled urbanization rate of desperate job seekers who leave behind in rural areas dislocated families and households, awaiting meagre remittances. Most of those that make it to the cities end up living on their outskirts in desperate twilight zones of socio-economic misery, unable to support their families or return home. Your targets, Honourable Minister, of increased agricultural production and economic growth must materialise to turn this around. You will have to ensure that the protected agricultural areas are spared from unbridled residential development in rural areas that seems to be immune from the provisions of the Spatial Planning Land Use Management Act. You won't increase crop yields or animal and fibre production without adequate extension services, and this area is currently glaringly underserviced in the developing sector. The capacitation and training pipeline of these skills needs to be prioritised. The Assistant Agricultural Practitioners Programme has been stopped. Why? I worked with some incredibly competent and capable interns in the citrus industry who had graduated from universities and TVET colleges, who desperately needed experience and who, if supported, could fill the gap. Your DG knows this. South Africans are excellent farmers, black and white, but many are constrained by not having legal tenure. This makes it almost impossible to secure production capital. Those who depend on the state for this are frustrated by interminable delays in decision-making and untimely interventions, which is compounded by the dysfunction of the land bank. The land bank is dysfunctional. I strongly advise you to investigate the Agri-Parks Development Initiative. It has all the hallmarks of tenderpreneurial exploitation, and they are white elephants. Start in Mount Aleph. Lastly, Minister, you need to seriously investigate what is happening at Onderstepoort with regard to vaccine production of effective, efficient and affordable vaccines that can combat the catastrophic economic impact that some animal diseases are having on our agricultural economy. Our biosecurity measures are inadequate, and some reactions to outbreaks are poorly conceived and often more detrimental to the economy. I'm pleased to hear the Minister that you have identified that. This is especially so with notifiable diseases such as foot and mouth disease, sheep scab, horse sickness and avian influenza, to mention a few. But there's another debilitating issue in agriculture. There are tick-borne diseases such as African and Asian redwater, heartwater and gall sickness that all threaten to the entire agricultural livestock industry. The same applies to crop diseases and pestilence that are being weaponized by our international export competitors as anti-competitive trade barriers. We want to fix South Africa. We'll support this department. And if you've eaten today, don't forget to thank a farmer.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I now call to the podium the Deputy Minister of Agriculture.
Somlomo wosuku ndiphakama ndibulisa kuzo zonke izikhakhamela ominister no deputy amalungu ahloniphekileyo eParliament osihlalo bamakomiti. My heart goes straight to the kings and kingdoms of our country, as much as thinking of all those who live below the standard that is expected of them in their own country. Today, we are called upon by Parliament, which represents all South Africans. We are also coming here being an interim arrangement that is of a government of national unity. Please allow me to go on. I know we can even take this outside here. We know how to engage, you and me as women. Thank you very much. We have been driving the National Development Plan, which will end in 2030. However, those who are actually wise are able to stop, reflect, and listen, and replan. We cannot be a leader if we are not prepared to listen almost to everybody. I really believe, Honorable Chair, that this moment will take us through the process of no one must be left behind. It is true because our own arrangement is such that we go back to the Constitution and ensure that there are community committees on the ground. We are actually, through this process, devolving to the village. As we continue to rule at this level, which is national, we are prepared not only to devolve to provinces which are closer to our people, but to the village. That route goes through what we call district development plan, where actually districts as local government, and I must remind all of us here, very humbly, my friends and my leaders, that all spheres of government are equal, except that they are partially dependent on each other for them to carry out their mandate. The call that we are making as an ANC, as government, is that can we be able to devolve to the ward?
Ngenhlonipho ngiyathanda ukuhlonipha and ngiyajabula Nkosi yami umhlonishwa uthi funeka bonke abantu bezwile balalele kuze bafunde. But usuka eBizana umbuzo uthi bayezwa yini ukuthi kukhulunywa nganje wakwathina singezwa lana na ngoba phela fena ngabe na umixa at least ne-English. Ngiyabonga.
Yeah. Thank you, Honourable Kahula. That's a point of debate, really. Honourable Minister, continue.
Eyona nto bayaziyo ngapha eFlagstaff ophundu wakhona bazisilungu gqitha. Ndikuxelela kaloku babecinezelwe ngesilungu. Babezokwala kanjani ke ngoku? Ndiyabulela kakhulu. Going forward to say the district development plan allows villagers, abantu basema villagini, babe khona ezikomitini, baqale wodini, bayotsho kumasipala, bayotsho kwi-district, bese sonke siyoshona khona. Loko ke kona kubhalwe phansi, futhi kwaze kwalontshwa kwaqhutywa.
Honourable Minister, please just take your seat for a moment. Honourable Member, why are you rising?
She's not the minister. Chair, she's not the minister.
Angazi Chair noma ngoba ngingekhona kwi-GNU ngikala isikhathi u5 minutes usuphelile kodwa mina ngimisiwe ngesami isikhathi. Onke abantu abapresentela ngibuka isikhathi la. U5 minutes usuphelile la kodwa la kubhala u5 minutes.
You know, thank you, Honourable Member. That's really disrespectful to this House and to the Chair. We are managing time. You don't need to assist us in that regard. Honourable Deputy Minister, please continue.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order.
Yes,
Chair, I think these cameras in this House are racist because when you look at the videos there...
Honourable Member, your intervention similarly is not assisting.
Can you allow me to finish?
No,
I think you are extremely rude.
That's not a point of order.
You are interrupting us.
It's a point of order. You can take whatever you have around the
you're being
technical
very rude.
matters to
very,
the
very
Rules
rude.
Committee.
You should be redeployed from here, somewhere else.
Thank you. Honourable Deputy Minister, please continue.
Umthwalo lo wena usilinge. Siuqhelile futhi ukuthwala. Akuzonceda nje ukudisturba la. Siyaya la siyakhona. Siyaya la siyakhona abantu bakuthi noba bamnyama noba bamhlophe they actually going to participate. Whether bazi ministers noba bazo ministers bazi individuals, we recognize them as this department. Department le eyona nto ibalulekileyo ukuba ake kuvulwe abantu bangene. Mabangene through izifears abakuzo. No one lives national. No one lives at a province. Sihlala lapha ya sonke. Sesiyohlangana khona. Senze show
your time has now
people
expired.
Participate.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Minister. The next party to participate is the ACDP.
On a point of order,
Yes,
House Chair.
Honourable Ntlangwini.
On a point of order, House Chair. Thank you, House Chair. Chair, I think it's just potent that you are reminding members of Rule 68, because the Deputy Minister have spent 5 minutes on an irrelevant speech that have nothing to do with this debate. So just remind them on Rule 68, everyone that are coming to that. podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member, for that reminder. The ACDP. We move on. Is there a speaker on behalf of the UDM? If not, I recognize the Honourable Zibi on behalf of Rise Mzansi.
Honourable Chair, Committee Chairperson, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Honourable Members, good morning. The most important and basic function of any government is to keep its people safe and to ensure that people can put food on the table. Sadly, too many South Africans go to bed hungry and have little or no hope that this will not be the case the following day. For a country of South Africa's natural wealth, this should not be the case. I note, Honourable Ministers, that notwithstanding the department's budget has been cut again, which is a demoralizing blow to the small farmers and landowners who work hard every day to make a living off the land. It is also a blow to the long-standing obligation to deliver land justice to historically dispossessed South Africans. I am also aware that this budget vote was formulated by the previous administration, so I'm going to focus on a frame I believe is important if we are to have social and economic justice as instructed by our Constitution. 3 things need to be done by the department in both its current and new form to ensure that South Africans in both rural and urban settings live prosperous and dignified lives. Firstly, spatial planning and justice, especially in rural areas. Those of us from rural communities have seen how villages and their surrounding towns have either grown or collapsed due in part to lack of planning. It is important that the government at national, provincial and local spheres work with traditional authorities and this department to ensure that there is order in how settlements are expanded, that there is sufficient provision of infrastructure such as water to every home so that people can make meaningful use of the land that they have. This means the provision of water to every home will enable rural residents to use the land they have to produce their own food with the support of the government, especially in terms of crop choices, modern seeds, and other modern farming methods that help them to put food on the table. We also need to prioritize land restitution to bring certainty to all South Africans. We are not helping ourselves as a country when we continue to drag our feet, mismanage and underfund land restitution. I hope that we will see an increase in budget allocations for land restitution and redistribution so that we can put this matter to bed within a generation. The final point I want to make, Honourable Ministers, is that South Africa is urbanizing at a very rapid rate. We can no longer say that we are surprised. It is unconscionable that we create a situation where millions of South Africans become unlawful occupants of land in their own country. We have to plan ahead, provide sufficient resources so that people can have spatial and land justice. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Order, Honourable Members. I now invite the Honourable Member from Bosa. Honourable Member from Bosa. I now invite the Honourable Zungula.
Minister, izwe lethu. The Minister, there may be a perception out there that the PAC has sold out. A perception that the PAC is serving in the same cabinet as right-wingers. It is serving in the same cabinet as people who opposed the abolition of the apartheid. And the only way in which, Minister, PAC can redeem itself, it is by expropriating land without compensation. It is returning land to its rightful owners. Minister, sifuna ukuxhasa si-ATM ngokuthi the power oyinikeziweyo, use it. Ungadlali ngepower, Minister. veki neveki masive ngawe kusithi unikeza abantu umhlaba. Nanso qha into esiyifunayo thina. Enye into minister funeka siyijongile. Kukho abantu bangaphandle abazapha eSouth Africa bathenge iproperty kwindawo ezifana noGeorge noFranschhoek. As foreigners from America and Europe, they drive the property prices high to an extent whereby even the locals cannot even afford land or property in those areas. It is our submission, Minister, that only South Africans must own land. The foreigners must only be allowed to lease land. Because if we do not correct that, Minister, we run a risk of having a future of our children being more landless than we are now. It is our view, Minister, that we've got a problem of high food prices in our country, which is a result of few farmers which are responsible for food supply. There needs to be a farming revolution in our country where all people with arable land are encouraged to farm. We want, Minister, that a budget must be availed to employ all agricultural assistant practitioners. We've got AAPs, which are young people who are trained and want to make a contribution in our country, but they are not employed. Last financial year, almost 5,000 of their contracts were withdrawn. So we want those contracts to be ziphinde zibuyiselwe abantwana bethu bakwazi ukusebenza. Lastly, Minister, we want to say you must work with the Department of Education to reopen all agricultural colleges in each municipality. This must be coupled with having agriculture as a subject at a high school level. This will boost food supply. Release the farms, Minister, that are in state custody to the people. Speed up land restitution and increase assistance to black farmers. Thank you. Izwelethu. Andiyelwe Africa. Andiyelwe.
Thank you, Honorable Zungula. I now invite the Honorable Nana.
Thank you, Chairperson and honorable members. On numerous occasions, my party, the DA, is falsely accused of being anti-land reform. This narrative has been peddled by those who either want to deliberately misrepresent the DA policy or deliberately distorting facts to suit their agenda for politics of division. Well, I have news for them. If the 2024 national and provincial government elections are anything to go by, South Africans did not listen to them. The DA acknowledges the critical importance of land reform in our country in order to bring back dignity and justice to South Africans who were dispossessed of their land. What we oppose is the amendment of Section 25 of the Constitution, Minister. It is our strong-held view that there is nothing wrong with Section 25. This section provides sufficient authority to the state for a just and equitable land reform process. It is widely reported that the state has so far spent about 12 billion since 2006 acquiring farms for land reform purposes under the proactive land reform strategy for a meager acquisition of just over 2.5 million hectares of land by August 2023. This is substandard performance and it should be treated as such. The snail pace of land reform cannot be attributed to the program itself because there is nothing wrong with it. Corruption, inflation of prices, collusion between corrupt government officials and sellers, and inept cadres deployed to discharge this very important task are at the heart of its problems. The Democratic Alliance is a party of the rule of law, unlike many populist parties in this House. We believe in the supremacy of the Constitution. Yes, Minister Nyonso, you are right. Economic growth and sustainable development plus social justice must be done within the confines of the law and the Constitution of the Republic. It should never be done in a manner that will undermine investment, economic growth, job creation, property rights for individuals as enshrined in our Constitution, because we all have witnessed catastrophic consequences this had on our neighbors just across the Limpopo River. Yes, it is possible to pursue land reform within the existing constitutional parameters. The Western Cape government has demonstrated this on numerous occasions. Honorable members, now that Ministers Nyonso and Steenhuisen have filed for divorce, it should not be acronymous, because both departments have a critical role in land restitution, restoration, and support to beneficiaries. In this regard, you will be advised to take a leave.
Chairperson, will the honourable member be prepared to take a question?
Please switch off your mic. Sorry. 45 seconds. No, your time will be readjusted accordingly. Honourable member, if you are raising a point of order, you do not just switch on the mic and scream. You raise your hand.
No. I have my hand up. You are not seeing my hand.
No,
you are not seeing my hand. So I've got to press the button so you can hear me. Understand this, please.
Honourable member.
I am raising my hand. Who are you? You keep quiet. I am raising my hand. You are not recognizing my hand. I have to press the button, and you're forcing me to become unruly in the House. That's what you are doing.
Honourable member, you will be recognized. I am giving you house rules.
Do it after he finishes his speech. After he finishes his speech.
Honourable member, you are not going to... Shouting will not get your point across. You are now recognized. Upon being recognized, honourable member, just indicate who you are, and then you'll be given the right to speak.
Thank you. I'm Vispan Reddy from Umkhonto Wesizwe Party, the party led by President Jacob Zuma. Now, I would like to know if the speaker is prepared to take a question.
Thank you, honourable member. That's where you end it. Honourable Nana, are you prepared to take a question?
The honourable member watches lots of TV. If I have time, I will take a question.
The member is not prepared to take a question.
He watches lots of TV.
Sorry, Chair. What does watching of TV have to do with anything here?
And Nyonso have filed for divorce. It should not be acronymous because both departments have a critical role in land restitution, restoration, and support to beneficiaries. In this regard, you'll be best advised to take a leaf out of a study conducted by Putlisani, an independent NPO based in the Western Cape, evaluating agricultural businesses and projects supported by the Western Cape government post-settlement support program between 2019 to 2023. The study found, amongst other things, that 83% of land reform farmers who received this support from the Western Cape government consider themselves to be succeeding or highly successful. This is in stark contrast to the national government's 90% failure rate. That is the DA difference for you. In conclusion, honourable members, allow me to salute Inkosi Amabhela Selenge, ukhono lapha azolitumile.
Honourable Nana, your time has expired. Honourable members, a few housekeeping rules. Members must not pass across the floor and the member speaking. I've seen it happening. I am just cautioning members that you should not walk across the floor and obstruct the speaker on the podium. Honourable members, I will now invite the Honourable Shiviti.
Greetings, Chair, Ministers, Deputy Ministers, my co-chair, members of the Portfolio Committee, honourable members, receive our revolutionary greetings. While the department has created a backlog reduction strategy that focuses on claims filed prior to 1998, However, because the cost of settling claims has increased, funding does not appropriate correspond with the amount of outstanding claims that needs to be settled. Since communal property associations, CPAs, control the majority of settled land, the department offers government training to CPA executive committee members to make sure that they understand.
Honorable member, take your seat. Honorable Reddy.
Thank you, Chair.
I recognize you.
Thank you. Thank you for recognizing me. Chair, there is a rule. I just don't have the rule in my head right now. I'm a new member, which says that you can't just come and read a speech here. Your speech is just to give you. No, let me finish. Let me finish.
No,
This is not your house. Let me finish. Let me finish, and then you'll understand my point. So the speech is meant to give you some sort of guidance, and you speak to members.
Thank you, Honorable
But she's
Reddy.
not doing that.
Honorable Reddy, it says, the rule says, as far as possible. And the discretion of the speaker can allow the member to read, as it says, as far as possible. Do not read, a member may not read, but it does not explicitly say the member must not read the speech.
But as far as possible, she's reading.
Honorable Reddy, from here forth, I am going to name you. Honorable member, you can continue.
Thank you, Chair. As I continue, about 5.2 million hectares were acquired in relations to the land redistribution and tenure security pillars, of which 3.1 million were obtained via the PLUS program. The department's primary goal is supporting development in rural areas, continues to be rural development. 37% of South African resides in rural areas where they face poverty, limited access to social services, and inadequate safety and security. Amongst other things, the triple challenges of rural areas are inequality, unemployment, and poverty. This is why it is imperative for the Portfolio Committee to support the budget vote, as we believe it covers programs and goals for ensuring growth and transformation in the sector. In order to move forward, find inclusive growth, it is important to know where we come from and where we are going. It has been 111 years since the land dispossession of 1913, where the indigenous people of our land were forcefully removed from productive land. The post-apartheid government has taken a stand to foster conditions enabling equitable access to land, to enable food security, and thereby reduce poverty, inequality, unemployment, and historic injustices.
Honorable member, take your seat. Honorable member, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to ask if the Speaker can take a question.
Honorable Chibiti, are you prepared to take a question? The member is not prepared to take a question. You may continue, Honorable member.
Over the MTEF period, transfers and subsidies are expected to make up to 24.9 billion, or 47% of all expenditures. This includes grants for land reform and restitution, transfer to public entities, and conditional grants to provinces. It is critical in this administration we assess land reform and agrarian transformation to support small and medium-scale Black farmers in ensuring food security, growth in agricultural sector. We have seen that redistribution through agricultural land holding account, insofar as property valuation, have delayed or hampered scaling up delivery of land, and we need to resolve the matter of the question of market value of land as opposed to the concept of just and equitable compensation. We have seen great strides by farmers in South Africa on reducing reliance on state subsidies towards sourcing the services we need from private sector and from farmer organizations. The African National Congress is committed to work for our people and contribute to the growth and development of this country. As government and department, as the organization of the people, we fully support the budget. We are committed to make sure that provisions of land, its subdivisions, and human habitation is properly implemented. Additionally, it covers the planning, development, improvement, and disposal of property, as well as the financial support needed for the land. The organization of the people continue to sing we continue to sing umhlaba wonke ezandleni zabantu msaba ekwayi amabokweni mabani. Thank you.
Cancer, honorable member. Order, honorable members. May we be orderly, honorable members. I now invite the Minister of Land Reform, Honorable the Minister.
Honorable Chair, Ministers, Deputy Ministers, honorable members, greetings to all of you. In moments like this, we need to briefly pause and reflect on the efforts of government in implementing land reform programs in the last 6 administrations. The efforts were aimed at reversing the legacy of 3.7 centuries of colonial and apartheid policy of land dispossessions and denial of the majority indigenous citizens of this country access to land and security of tenure. Besides these efforts, the country still remains an unequal society, and access to land with security tenure rights are limited to some privileged people. The current skewed land ownership patterns, inequitable access to land and tenure insecurity flies against the spirit and the letter of the Section 25, subsection 5, 6, and 7 of the Constitution that enjoins the state to ensure equitable access to land, security of tenure, and restitution or equitable redress. Land is one of the key economic factors of production, and in order to unlock the economic potential of our country and to eradicate the evils of triple challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, land reform has to be prioritized and be accelerated. The 3 legs of land reform, namely land redistribution, land restoration, land restitution, and land tenure, still remain relevant for advancing redress in the land reform realm. Our failure to deal with this will be unforgivable error to the future of this country. This budget vote also embraces the significant work that we intend to execute in land administration in vital cog to ensure effective land reform. Land administration will cover national geomatics, special planning, and land use and registry of deeds. On land redistribution and tenure reform, we had committed in the 2023-2024 financial year to acquire and allocate land through land redistribution and land tenure programs. The department successfully acquired and allocated 67,376 hectares of land to various beneficiaries during this period, surpassing the target of 42,456 hectares that was set. During this financial year, 2024-2025, the department has budgeted a total figure of 466 million to acquire and allocate 46,600 767 hectares of land for redistribution through proactive acquisition of strategic located land and also security tenure purposes. Community property associations as land holding entities for some communities and beneficiaries have over the years been plagued by multiplicity of challenges, including but not limited to conflicts and infighting. Failure to comply to founding legislation, inadequate governance, management, administrative knowledge, and inadequate financial support for business initiatives. In the past financial year, we trained 842 CPA executives with the aim of each financial year. We aim to strengthen the governance and management capacity of CPAs to ensure compliance with CPA Act. During this financial year, a further 755 CPA executives and members will receive training in line with Restitution of Land Rights Act 1994. We'll continue to support CPAs with post-settlement support to address sustainability of their operations. In order to address the plight of the rural communities through the Transformation of Certain Rural Areas Act, the department has transferred 473,938 hectares of land entitled to the colored communities who were deprived of land ownership by the past oppressive regimes. And this will work even to accelerate in the current year. The work began in the 6th administration by the Interministerial Committee on Land Reform and Agriculture, led by the Deputy President, to convert the leases of the qualifying leases occupying state land into freehold titles will continue in the 7th administration. This work has commenced, and we project to realize the significant progress on state land transfers in the current financial year. The department will continue consultation with the leases to ensure that this work continues unhindered. The decision to transfer state land is very significant, as it will directly have a positive impact in the redefining of land ownership patterns in the country and will further improve available funding options for the farmers. The Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, Section 25, states that the state must take responsible legislative and other measures within its available resources to foster conditions which enable citizens to gain access to land on equitable basis. While the state has been using its available resources to address land distribution, this was not supported by a legislative measure. To this effect, there is a focused attention on crafting and consulting on the land redistribution bill during this period. In responding to the outcomes of the Communal Land Tenure Administrative Summit, a communal tenure bill will be processed to Cabinet for approval in order to begin with the public consultations in the current financial year. These two bills will also simultaneously have supporting policies consulted on labour tenants matters. The department is working with the Special Master on Labour Tenants Court, who is appointed by the court to monitor, supervise, and oversee the work of the department towards the resolution of the outstanding labour tenants claims. Over the past financial year, I have noted that this work has been executed at a slow pace, and I will engage the Office of the Special Master on the land and the Land Court with the aim of expediting the labour tenants' claims. The department, through Legal Aid South Africa, will also continue to provide resources to ensure the land reform beneficiaries are protected by the extension of security of tenure. Labour tenants, CPA, and other beneficiaries have access to legal services. The eviction of farm workers have become an urgent issue as we cannot afford to as a country. On land restitution, since 1998, the restitution program has settled a total of 83,205 land claims, including land restoration and financial compensation. These are made up of 2.3 million individual beneficiaries who are members of 465,005 households. Of those, 478 are female-headed households and 1,200 are households headed by persons living with disability. President Zungula, I've been long enough in the struggle, my brother, to understand that if today yanivumelana umuntu ubizwa sellout. Xa buyile ngomso ubizwa revolutionary. My dear sister my comrade from EFF, I know and understand personally the great Nkuteu Raboroko. I understand him. I understand his line of thinking. I personally worked with him. I did not only read about Raboroko. The perception, President, that the PAC thengisile is the perception yabantu abangavotelanga PAC. Abebevotele i-PAC are the reasons why PAC participated with GNU. Uba abantu i-PAC bebeyithanda kangaka kanti bebeyazi be-revolutionary bebetheni bangayivotelanga. Thank you, Comrade Chair.
Thank you. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, we continue. I now invite the honorable member from Al-Jama. I invite the member from NCC. I now invite the honorable Mtetwa from MK.
Greetings, House Chair, honorable ministers and deputy ministers, honorable members, and our fellow officials. May I read the following laws that governed us since then. The Free State Ordinance 5 of 1876, dealing with the rights of colored, precluded them in owning property unless one parent of the person was white. The next one, Franchise and the Ballot Act of 1892, Squatters Act of 1895 in the then Orange Free State, Glen Grey Act of 1894, the Native Reserve Location Act of 1902, the Crown Lands Disposal Ordinance of 1903, the Native Land Act 27 of 1913, which solidified African lands dispossession that dated back to 1800. From 1994 to 2024, the Africans still remain dispossessed of their land. I just wanted to read that part so that at least I can give my input. My input is that you took our land when we were using our native law, and then you use Roman Dutch law for it to be returned to us, and that is foreign. And Roman Dutch and British law has no jurisdiction in this land. So there is what we call a legal paradox, where a law that has no jurisdiction in a foreign land being used by the natives to comply. That is impossible. Okay, let me move on. Eluhatle in army base yase Northern Cape. Kuno inkosi lapha uholele noToto. In 1911, their land was taken, and the army is now based there. But not just the army, also the minerals in their land. That's a richer spot in the Northern Cape. It is a bone of contention today, and the matter is not resolved. We are going there to solve that problem. And our land, by the way, I understand, ministers, when you say you don't have money. Money is not with you, the state. The person who's got money is Rupert and Oppenheimer. And there are two guys who are actually monopolizing the South African economy. I can take you back from 1917 when Ernest Oppenheimer established Anglo-America. Harry Oppenheimer after him.
and Nicky Oppenheimer after him. 3 generations in over 100 years. The country is held at ransom and nobody's saying anything about it. Now you say there is no money in the state. Oppenheimer and Rupert, they're making more money in this country, and that money doesn't go to the state. And that's the problem. You must go and get that money. Besides, when you took our title deeds and when you took our land, you gave that land to the private sector. So our land is not necessarily with you, the state. It is with the private sector. Now, we lodged a claim in 1994 when the ruling party didn't meet the legal prescription that said from the 31st December 1993 to 1998, 31st December, lodge claims so that your land can be returned. Ruling party didn't subscribe and didn't comply. But thank God the kings complied with that law and they claimed their land. Derek Hanekom, the first minister after 99, he announced these title deeds on newspapers. You instituted a commission of who are the real kings, and the outcome said, we are the kings. After that, we never heard about that report. Ask Judge Nhlapo, where is he now? And that report.
Honourable Member, unfortunately, your time has expired.
Therefore, I'm landing.
Your time has expired. Honourable Member.
So we are saying we are not supporting this because it is not in line with the things I've just mentioned. Thank you.
I invite the Honourable Mahlatsi.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Thank you, Progressive Caucus. Izwe lethu. Today, the UAT stand before you to address an issue that strives at the very heart of our shared struggle and justice and equality, the weaknesses in land reform and agriculture in South Africa. This is not merely a national concern, it's a Pan-African issue, resonating from the legacy of colonialism and apartheid. Now, the UAT identified the current weaknesses in both the land and agriculture. The first one is the land access and ownership. Most productive agricultural land remain in the hands of the few. With African farmers lacking sufficient arable land, land distribution has been slow, inefficient, and there is corruption. Access to resources. African farmers struggle to access essential resources like capital, modern equipment, quality seeds, fertilizers, water, hidden productivity, and competitiveness. Now, the third one is skill and training. There is a substantial gap in agriculture education and training. Many African farmers lack modern technique, management skills, technological advancement. The fourth one is market access. African farmers face challenges in accessing market due to unfair competition. I'm very excited that since 1959, we've been waiting for this day that we're going to take this land and run with it. And then the financial support. Financial sector is unsupportive with high interest rate, stringent collaboration, lack of tailored financial production, exclusive of many African farmers from necessary funding. Policy implementation. Policies support African farmers exist, but are weakly and inconsistently implemented, lacking coordination, monitoring, and support services. The last one is regional cooperation. Pan-African solidarity is crucial. Sharing best practices and learning from each other's practices can lead to effective and resilient land reform strategy and facilitated bodies like African unions. So as the United African Transformation, we reject this thing. However, However, we reject this thing called budget. With this thing called budget, we are rejecting it. However, we know that we have a progressive minister on the other side, and we're hoping that we will take this land. He is a lady.
Honourable members, we now invite the Honourable Deputy Minister, Land Reform and Rural Development, Honourable Matabata.
Thank you, Honourable House Chair. Minister of Land Reform, Rural Development, Honourable Mzansi, Minister of Agriculture, Honourable Sienhazen, Committee Chairpersons of Portfolio Committees on Agriculture and Land Reform, and the Chairperson of Land Reform and Rural Development, Honourable Dinapule, and Honourable Tsakan Shiviti, honourable members, ladies and gentlemen, Honourable Chair, it is my honor to present or to make a presentation on this, the budget vote 29 in this August House for the Department of Land Reform and Rural Development. Chapter 6 of the National Development Plan on Inclusive and Integrated Rural Development envisions that 2030 rural areas will be integrated with economically active communities who are food secured with access to basic services, infrastructure to facilitate mobility and connectivity, healthcare and quality education. For this to be realized, it is envisaged that land reform and communal security on tenure will be addressed with technical and land development support to primary and tertiary producers. According to Stats SA, yes, you are right, it's not Limpopo, because you know it very well as you were still traveling to VBS to go and siphon money at the VBS. Kasi VBS, Mokika Parliament, listen and Honourable Chairperson, investment in rural infrastructure.
Order, honourable members, honourable Deputy Minister, take your seat. Honourable Reddy, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Chair. I just thought I should come in now because the Speaker was just talking nonsense. Can the Speaker please take a question? Will the Speaker please take a question? And Chair, it's legitimate. I mean, they've got to answer questions. They must not hide.
Honourable Reddy.
Why are they hiding?
Honourable Reddy. Honourable Reddy. I will again.
I withdraw the statement of nonsense. He's just not keeping to his speech.
Honourable Reddy.
Thank you.
When you are recognized, you raise your point of order. You move away from the preambles. Your point was asking the honourable member if he's prepared to take a question. Honourable Matabata, are you prepared to take a question?
No.
And the answer
Absolutely
is no.
No. You know, there is an expression, honourable members.
Order, honourable members. You are allowed to heckle, but do not drown the speaker on the podium. and that must be done within the decorum of the House. From henceforth, I am going to start naming you honorable members if you are going to continue with the behavior.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I was just saying there is an adage, an old adage, that says, taste not from the fire and spring is reflected to the, referred to that honorable member there. Taste not from the fire and springs, where shallow intoxicate the brains and largely drink sobers you again. If you don't understand,
Honorable Deputy Minister, take a seat. I invite the Honorable Mtlangwini.
Thank you very much, House Chair. House Chair, I raised on my previous point of order, and next time I will be as prudent as the Honorable John Steenhuisen, because he have studied the rule book and he got it a seat as a minister. But nevertheless, Rule 68. Can the minister's speech please refer to a relevant speech, because I think he got a wrong speech there. So I think his speech is maybe still in the Limpopo legislature. So let us
Thank you,
just
Honorable
check,
Member. We've heard
relevance.
Honorable Member, we've heard. I'll before recognizing you, Honorable Reddy, because you have raised your hand, I wish to warn you regarding your spurious orders, point of orders, and that is disregarding the authority of the chair. And this must be taken as your last warning. Yes, Honorable Reddy, I am talking to you. Because you had raised a hand. Honorable DM, continue.
Thank you.
House Chair, you haven't ruled on my point of order on Rule 68 on the irrelevance on the minister's speech. You haven't ruled. Because people of Limpopo are waiting for him to speak about land, and he's speaking something, I don't know, about grapevines and passages.
Honorable Mtlangwini,
please.
Honorable Mtlangwini, that is not a point of order, and if you continue with this spurious point of orders, which disrupts the speaker on the podium, I will name you. Honorable Deputy Minister, continue.
Honorable Chairperson, investment in rural infrastructure, including rural access to roads to villages, towns and farms, remain critical to rural industrialization. Acceleration of industrial development zones, industrial parks, high-tech and catalytic projects, specific infrastructure aligned to district and provincial spatial development frameworks should be prioritized in partnership with the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition to realize the NDP 2030 vision. Rural industrialization requires primary, secondary and tertiary production. Small enterprise development, financing and support services had not been very sustainable as it should be. It is important to focus on small enterprise development over the coming year and beyond, working in partnership with the Department of Small Business Development and Private Sector to ensure successful delivery of finance and non-finance support to small enterprises, small businesses, SMMEs, in rural economies. Because we are saying this because we believe, and strongly so, that through small business development, we will be in the position to redistribute land
Honorable Deputy Minister,
and
your time has expired.
develop the rural areas.
Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. Honorable Kaula. Be orderly. Be orderly, honorable member. I invite the Honorable Lucas. Point of debate. That's a point of debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, House Chair, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Deputy Ministers, Chairpersons of committees, Honorable Members. I want to express my sincere appreciation for having the opportunity to participate in this debate on the current joint vote 29 of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development. One of the most important revolutionary responsibilities for a democratic government is to address historical imbalances. For landless people, the access to land become one of their basic needs, and particularly for those that have been dispossessed previously. The department reported that of the so-called old order claims, only 5,407 is still outstanding that needs to be resolved. During the presentation, we did inquire as to when mentoring and support to restored communities stop, meaning when are we satisfied that the restitution case are regarded as a successful project. It is when people have returned, or is it when the department is satisfied that people are resettled? I am asking this in the light of the fact that in a case like Rimfasmak, for instance, commitments were made for phase 2 of the restitution of the community and it never materialized. The department claimed to have spent more than 25 billion rand or more on this process. Are we satisfied that we got value for money? I take it that the resettling of the community should be an inclusive process where beneficiaries as part of post-settlement support should also be assisted to access government services like home affairs, for IDs and citizenship, education, health services, water and sanitation, etc. There is an issue that is a real challenge, and that is the issue of the governance model. The Honourable Minister spoke about the issue of the training and capacity building that they are putting into the CPAs and the trusts that are responsible for governing these resettled communities. But I think we are also fully aware of the serious challenges that people are experiencing because of this current communal property associations, or CPAs as it is commonly known, or trusts set up to represent the interests of communities. I want to propose that the department invest in studies as to how we develop a governance model or models that will not only be inclusive, but will also satisfy beneficiary communities. When we come to the issue of food security, I want to advise the Minister of Agriculture to ensure that we do utilize programs like the 1 hectare per family project that is already in the departments in the rural communities, so that we have programs that is successful to ensure food securities in the specific communities, and that we also provide them with the necessary mentoring and monitoring so that this project is successfully implemented. I also want to remind all of us here that we should not put issues of security of tenure on the back burner. In many instances, farm workers are being put off farms when they have reached the end of their productive life without any regard for their safety or settlement. I sincerely believe that we will be able to focus on solutions to the challenges experienced by resettled communities if we all jointly take on that responsibility. The ANC supports the budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you, honourable members. I invite the Honourable Boshoff.
Thank you, Honourable Chair, and I hope all the earphones are connected with the Afrikaans translator. Ons praat nou vandag oor die departement van grondhervorming en landbou, maar eintlik as mens logies daarna wil kyk, moes dit liewerster gewees het grondbou en landhervorming. Want dit gaan oor grond, die dun skilletjie wat basies alle lewe op aarde onderhou, wat met goeie bewerkingsmetodes, goeie vrugbaarheidspraktyke, goeie veeteeltpraktyke tot die maksimum sinvolle produksie gevoer kan word. Landhervorming aan die ander kant gaan daaroor wie se land is dit, aan wie behoort dit, wie is die gemeenskappe aan wie dit behoort, wie is die individue wat toegang daartoe het. Nou, het laat my so vlugtig dink aan 'n liedjie van Rikus Nel wat sê, ek was al in baie lande, koringlande, mielielande, En dit is waaroor dit vandag gaan. Dit gaan oor die lande, aan die een kant die politieke dimensie daarvan, aan die ander kant die doodgewone biologiese en tegniese element daarvan. Ek sal nou nie vir die lid in my eie kans gee nie.
Honorable member, take your seat. Honorable member, you are recognized. Please state who you are and you can speak.
Chairperson, ndingunkosi uMandla Nkosi Matutu eMkanduli kwi-Tribal Authority yabaThembu Ohlanga. Ndithunywe ngumkhonto wesizwe kaNcamalala. Njengobana ke kukhona ezimike ayisebenzi le yam bathetha ilwimi lakubo abantu bakuthi eMkanduli abahluphekileyo abangenamanzi kumhlaba wabo abeva bakuthethwa ngantoni apha. So sicela bana ezimike zisebenze kuba sisazi sibhulu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The translation is on Channel 1. Put number 1, and the translation will be in English. Honorable Member, you can continue.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Nou, wat die politieke dimensie van grond en landbesit betref, eienaarskap daarvan betref, kan 'n mens sê dat daar 'n verskil is tussen private grondeienaarskap en gemeenskaplike grondeienaarskap. Wanneer jy 'n politieke bedeling het met 'n spesifieke bevolkingsgroep wat politieke oorheersing beleef,
Chairperson, ayisebenzi. Can you send someone to assist me? It's not working.
Not only you, not.
Abantu bale basive emakhaya kuba silwela umhlaba wamakhosi.
Honorable members, the issue of the translation was addressed by the previous chair. And remember, the translation is the prerogative of Parliament. Parliament is working on the translation. For now, you are having Channel 1 there, which translates from English from floor language to English. We do have a support member who will get close to you and address and assist you. However, Honorable Member, if you are still not satisfied, the rules say you need to write to the Speaker. We cannot continue to raise orders that relates to the translation when they have been addressed. Unless you want to disregard the explanation of the chair.
Change mic le ingasebenziyo. Le andiva ndifake earphones apha. Yes, ayisebenzi le mic. So ndizokwazi utranslateela abantu bakuthi emakhaya ba sithini isibhulu.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Technical people assisting nge-mic esebenzayo. Honorable Makaul.
Ngiyabonga wechair. Ukuthi ngempela unawe umnyama ukhombisa ukusidayisa. Awukwazi uthi sonke asiye kwi-English. While sitshela ukuthi njoba silana sithunywe abantu phansi. And lento nina nithatha sangathi thina silwa nani. Njengochair lapho. No. Thina sikhuluma neParliament ukuthi lona uqobo. Alenze sure ukuthi kuqashwa abantu zifundile izingane zethu phansi. Abazotolika la eParliament. Anikwazi lona isifosa ngenkani kwalokho uthi asitshelo seceleni la uzoyeka manje concentrate emsebenzini weParliament alokho emele nathi. Ani bathanda kabi labelungu beni beGNU. akho lutho la lana kusho ukuthi ngamanye amazwi language ala eParliament English and Afrikaans lento esilwelayo niyasitayisa nina.
Honorable Makaula, we've taken heed to your request and Parliament is working on it. May we be pleased get back to the business of the day, and the business of the day is the debate. Honorable member. Honorable Kaula.
No, but it's totally wrong in English.
Honorable Kaula, I am going to refer you to rule number 69. Rule number 69 uzokutshela ukuthi le behavior osoyenzayo ayikho honorable and ayikho in line with the decorum of the House. Honorable member, continue. Okay, before we proceed, Honorable Member, Honorable Matutu, we want to apologize for your device that is not working, but Parliament will fix it. Technical staff is going to fix your device. We do apologize. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. Please switch off. Honorable Member, you may continue. Honorable Member, I recognize you. Your time will be adjusted accordingly.
Yeah, Chair, thank you. Thank you for assisting that honorable member. But I think Mam Kaula has got the same problem. Can she also be assisted? She did say that her handset is not working. Please.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable persons from Parliament, may you assist us? Honorable Member, you may continue.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Die verspreiding van grond weerspieël die verspreiding van mag, of teenswoordig of histories. Met ander woorde, 'n mens kry 'n situasie waar die mag 'n groot verskuiwing ondergaan het, maar die verspreiding van grond het nog nie daardie selfde verskuiwing ondergaan nie, en dit is amper 'n noodwendigheid dat dit mettertyd sal gebeur. Nou, polities dominante of oorheersende groep het baie belang by private grondbesit. Dit is baie meer van pas vir hulle, terwyl 'n polities onderhorige groep eintlik meer baat by gemeenskaplike grondeienaarskap, omdat 'n mens as gemeenskap beter weerstand bied teen pogings vanuit die staat of die private sektor doodgewone markkragte om jou grond van jou weg te neem. Nou, elkeen het 'n voordeel. Die private eiendomsreg is beter om die ekonomiese waarde van grond te ontsluit, om welvaart te skep vir die private persoon, terwyl gemeenskaplike eiendomsreg eintlik dit baie makliker maak om toegang te kry en dit ook baie makliker maak om die grond te behou. Daarom het elkeen van die twee soorte het hulle meriete. Nou, as ons kyk na Afrikaners in Suid-Afrika, en as ons nou praat in die landbouportefeulje komitee soos agbare oukamp van die boere, dan bedoel jy nou nie die Afrikaners nie, bedoel die mense wat hulle ploeg in die grond sit. Wat maak jy met daai 10 ton trekker ploeg jy, om weer vir die kusnel aan te haal? Afrikaners het 'n verbintenis tot grond, wat oor 'n baie lang tyd kom. Maar in 1994...
Is the date is op?
My tyd is nie naby op nie.
It was adjusted. Is the date is op, agbare lid? Dankie.
They wasted 2 minutes of my time.
Your date is up. Your time was adjusted.
You didn't adjust my time.
You did. Agbare. Dankie, agbare. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. I invite the Honorable Smith.
Agbare voorsitter, ons staan vandag by die begin van 'n nuwe era vir landbou. 'n Era waar ons boere gehoor word.
Honorable member, just hold it a bit. Honorable members, your rules allow you to converse and to heckle, but they do not allow you to drown the speaker. So can we respect the rules? Respecting the rules also recognizes that Afrikaans is one of the official languages. Continue, Honourable Member.
Dankie, agbare voorsitter. Gehoor word as belangrik beskou word en versorg word. Maar maak nie saak of dit 'n klein of 'n groot boer is nie, en of dit 'n swart of 'n wit boer is nie. Boere is 'n aanwins vir ons land en al sy mense. We have a responsibility to support our farmers, to let them feel safe and appreciate and nurture their growth, as this industry have great potential to create economic growth, greater export capacity, and very importantly, job opportunities for our people throughout the value chain. Our big challenge, one of the big challenges we have, is to unlock the real possibilities of this industry, to ensure that new black farmers get title to land that they have to farm on. As without a title deed, they are set up to fail. If one understands the economics of agriculture, you will realize that you need the land as a capital asset to leverage against a financial injection to fund your agribusiness. Honourable Ministers, it is your responsibility to ensure that this is corrected. Another challenge farmers face is biosecurity, as my colleague mentioned. One aspect that needs to be sorted is border security, as infected animals freely move between our countries. That makes containment impossible. With a lack of border security goes the large-scale problem of stock theft. It is crucial that this ministry ensure collaboration with the ministries to implement lasting solutions to these challenges. And I am looking forward to engaging on these matters in our portfolio committee during this term. Minister, we are also in a new technological era that provides us with great opportunities to think differently about agriculture, and I believe there's still a lot to learn and discover about the potential of warehouse farming in urban settings, as well as water conserving methods, which we need to invest in looking into the future. Legislation in this regard needs to be produced to facilitate growth in this direction. Minister Steenhuisen, you can expect a robust engagement from us in the Portfolio Committee where it's necessary, but also our full support to ensure that this ministry ensure a growing agricultural industry that grows our economy, feed our people, and create much needed jobs for the jobless who are hungry for dignified lives. Honourable Madlala, I just want to say that the fact that there is not enough money for land reform is because of your president, the predecessor president, and the corruption that happened in that term.
Honourable Member, Honourable Member, take your seat. Order, Honourable Members. Order, Honourable Members. I recognize you, Honourable Member. Please state your name and the point of order that you are rising on.
Ay kamalam ngukhayelihle madlala le ndoda le khuluma ngayo manje lapha phambi kwami. Kahle kahle njengoba sikhuluma no minister mhlawumbe okunye okusalile ngoba nesikhathi siphelile. Imali yokuthi sithole umhlaba back wethu umhlaba sizothola uma siqeda.
That's a point of debate.
Uma siqeda umhlaba.
Honourable Member, that's not a point of order. It's a point of debate. Can you please switch off your mic? Honourable Member, continue.
Angithi manje ukhuluma ngonqamalala.
Honourable Member, it's a point of debate. It's a point of debate. Your speaker speak to anything. Right now, that is not a point of order. You are wanting to engage into the debate. And you have finished your time. You had an opportunity to debate and engage.
Okay.
I request you to close the mic because that is not a point of order.
Saying a raise point of order.
Honorable member, that is not a point of order. Honorable member, continue.
Sorry. Honourable Minister, I also want to encourage you not to play to the members on my left with VBS fever and Gupta.
We defeated you. We defeated you with all your lies.
Property rights. You are prescribed to the NG.
We defeated you. 2016 old story. You should be tired.
Order, honorable members.
You stole our land.
Order,
Tell us about VBS. You stole our land.
Honorable member, switching on the mic and screaming like that is grave disorder. Honorable member.
I'm speaking because, Chair, you failed to protect us. So we're going to have to protect ourselves in this house. We're not going to be disrespected here by people who came to steal our land.
Order, honorable member.
And then you say I'm screaming. I'm not screaming, I'm speaking.
Honorable member.
Why didn't you protect me when you were speaking about us?
Order, honorable members. Honorable members, order. The gestures also are disorderly. As you make your point, honorable member, please do not make gestures that are unparliamentary. Honorable members, we move on. I now invite the Honourable Minister to...
On a point of order, House Chair. On a point of order, House Chair. On a point of order, House Chair.
You are recognized, Honourable.
Thank you very much, House Chair. House Chair, I'm just want to warn you, tread very carefully. Honourable Jantjies also did that in the last term, and he didn't come back. Please protect all members of Parliament, not only members of GNU. Honourable Jantjies didn't make it back.
Honourable Tlangwini, that is not a point of order. That is not a point of order, and I will not take kindly as the chairperson of this session with the threats that you are making. So no, I am warning you, Honorable Tlangwini, the spurious point of orders that you have been raising have been gravely disorderly to the House. Honorable, I will now invite the Honorable Ndlalane.
Honorable House Chairpersons, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Honorable Members, agriculture is a cornerstone of human life. In fact, agriculture is supposed to be one of the well-funded sectors. Honorable House Chairperson, there is a need to assess the implementation of the National Food and Nutrition Security Plan while properly planning for the impact, the climate change on the agriculture, and attending to cross-cutting matters such as agro-processing, job creation, transformation, and blended finance model requirements committee responsible for small business, trade and industry, national treasury. Resource mobilization will be crucial to achieve resource development of the conservation, agriculture, and agroecology, as well as investing in research and development for the recognition of the indigenous knowledge systems. Increasing food output and revitalizing the infrastructure throughout the medium term. Expenditure framework period, the department will keep working to implement the agro-processing master plan. Honorable Chair, the department intends to increase its capacity to research and develop in the coming years in order to improve market accessibility as well as the security and caliber of agriculture product, to enhance sanitary and phytosanitary operation linked to biosecurity and related animal diseases, plant pests, and disease surveillance. This calls for amplifying the policy and legal framework. As a result, it is anticipated that this initiative will enhance market accessibility via export certification and promote the expansion of the agricultural economy. The inspection of quarantine services, sub-programs, plant production and health programs, animal production and health programs, all under the agricultural production. Biosecurity and natural resources management programs have allocated 1 billion for this over the MTEF period. Honorable Chairperson, the entity medium-term goals will center on encouraging fair land distribution and agricultural development. To that end, it plans to acquire 102,025 hectares for redistribution, of which 50% will go to women, 40% to youth, and 10% to individuals with disabilities. The program for land development support, which concentrates on redistributed farms with growth potential but little or no agriculture support, will also be given priority to the entity. 108 farmers will receive equipment support from the programs with 846.2 million allocating during the MTEF period. It is projected that spending will rise from 942.4 million in 23-24.
Unfortunately, your time has expired.
Honorable Chair, we fully behind the budget as the ANC and we support it. Thank you very much.
I invite the Honorable the Minister Steenhuisen to respond to the debate.
Thank you very much, House Chairperson. And may I thank every one of the members who participated in the debate today. I think there were some really good points made, and both ministers have made notes and will factor that in. I do want to deal with a few of the issues that came up in the very short time that is available to me. The first deals with the extension officers. Now, many of you may know that an undertaking was made outside of the Department of Agriculture to provide 10,000 extension officers. Unfortunately for the department, the funding never followed the undertaking. And so it has put the department in a particularly difficult position in terms of being able to meet that undertaking that was made outside of the department. Nevertheless, I've made it very clear today, and I undertake again from this podium, that we need to find more innovative ways of being able to fund these posts. And I've committed to reaching out to see whether we can form public-private partnerships with industry bodies and agricultural players to see whether they would like to partner with the department in terms of the training and rolling out of more of these extension officers. I think there are opportunities as well to harness technology that is now available to develop platforms that will assist small farmers to be able to get the information that they need quickly, efficiently, and effectively in order to enable them to be able to focus on increasing their production, thereby increasing their profitability, thereby increasing the number of people that they would be able to hire in the agricultural sector, which I think we would all understand would be beneficial for all of us. A number of the members referred to biosecurity, and I want to give this House the assurance that biosecurity will be one of my top priorities as the Minister. not only to massively improve animal and plant health in the country, but also to make South African products the international standard for quality and availability. What this will do will allow us to open up further export markets for our country, to enable us to be able to bring more small-scale producers into the value chain and give them greater access and exposure to international markets, both on the continent but also across the oceans. That is where the real low-hanging fruit lies for us. South Africa and our continent is the bread basket of the world. And by improving those linkages and taking on board the lessons that we've learned through AGOA and other bilateral trade agreements, there is huge opportunity for us out there. But we have to focus on improving our local product offer and dealing with those issues. I thought today's debate was also very instructive for those people who have been watching at home, because I think it's been very clearly set out in a binary form today who the builders are and who the breakers are, who the dividers are and who the uniters are, and who the shouters are and who the doers are. And I think it's very important. The Government of National Unity has been formed.
Honourable Minister, can you take a seat? Honourable Member, you are recognized.
Chairperson,
On what point are you rising on?
ndicela ukubuza apha ku-Minister.
So you are rising on a point of privilege.
Ndicela ukubuza ku-Minister ukubana
Honourable Member, uyibamba up. Uma uthi ufuna ukucela ukubuza, it's a point of privilege, uyathula. Then I ask the Minister if the Minister is prepared to take the question.
I did offer to all members to send me questions during the course of the debate, and I'd be happy to answer them.
So the
I'm
Minister is not
unfortunately
prepared
not going to do it now.
ukuphendula lo mbuzo wakho.
So I think we've been able to see in the binary format that now the Government of National Unity, formed out of a popular mandate from the people of South Africa, has a significant majority and mandate to get out there and lift our citizens out of poverty and into opportunity, to create jobs, to promote inclusive economic growth. And working together, that will be the focus. And we're not going to be distracted by those who seek to break rather than those who want to work together in the best interest of all of our people to build going forward. Now, I heard a lot today, a lot of political invective being thrown around, a lot of epithets being thrown around. Who's right-wing and who's left-wing, who's right and who's wrong. But let me just say this. I was accused of being a right-winger. Let me just make this point. While some amongst us were busy looting VBS Bank, and I wonder how many emerging farmers lost their funds along with our gogos and the stokvels and the small agriculture there when that bank was looted. While some were looting VBS Bank, I was busy using our resources in court to fight for Mr. David Rakhatse, to get the land that he was due and to bring justice to that particular issue. While others were busy involved in state capture and putting people into key positions.
Honourable Minister, there is a point of order. Honourable Member, you must raise your point. Honourable Tlangwini, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, House Chair. House Chair, I just want to check if Mr. Steenhuisen are willing to take a question on the stain of looting that the DA was involved in.
Before you ask the question, you've asked if he's prepared to take a question. And Honourable Minister, are you prepared to take a question?
No, I'm not. I want to finish my point. Thanks. So while others were busy putting key people into places so that they could capture the state to benefit themselves, we were busy out there trying to bring justice to South Africa, to fight the very elements that people were wanting to reintroduce. There's a great saying in agriculture: as you sow, so shall ye reap. What the EFF sowed going into this election has ended up with the rotten harvest that they got in this election, where they lost votes and went backwards, and other parties have been returned with greater numbers. The GNU is setting out determinedly to change life for the better for all of our citizens. And so, wherever you may be around the country, whether it is in a rural area or whether it's an urban area, whether you're a business person or whether you're unemployed, I'm here to tell you today that help is on the way. The Government of National Unity is working together to make life better for all South Africans. Thank you very much.
Thank you, honourable members. Members, you are reminded that there are two debates which are scheduled for 2 o'clock. The Higher Education and Training Budget Vote, which will be taking place at Good Hope Chamber. The Public Works and Infrastructure Budget Vote, which will take place here in M46. That concludes the debate and the business for this mini plenary session. The mini plenary will now rise.
Well done, sir. I'm back at 2. I think we will have a rerun of this show. Especially, I'm going to have to try and check that device.
Billy. I didn't get to congratulate you.
Oh, thank you very much.
You did a big job on your hands,
Yes.
but
No, what a great day. I, on my way here this morning for the television interview, on the highway in the rain had a fucking flat tire.
oh no.